Hi, my name is Ginny. I'm a donor birth and postpartum doula trainer and the president of IBPA. I've attended 1,000 over births as a doula and I'm currently studying as a midwife. And I've been attending births since 15 years ago, been doing this for a long time. What has led me to my journey is my own birth experience, which wasn't that bad, but it wasn't something that I wanted either. It was the whole journey into being a mother and being an unwed mother that actually got me here. And the reason for that is coming from a place like Singapore, finding that there wasn't a lot of support, I needed to find support for myself. And in my own journey and trying to support myself and pave my way through parenting, I started the whole vision was to empower women and give women the strength that they didn't realize that they have to find their own way. And that's why I do what I do. What's really important to me for 4 trimesters is the legacy that we want to leave behind. And what's really, really important is that the work continues for women no matter who the doctor is, no matter who the doula is. And the legacy we want to leave is that the work continues. So the vision of 4 trimesters is to empower women and their families. Why women is some of the questions people would ask, because I truly believe that when we empower women, the relationship between them and that somebody else changes. And when a woman is empowered, it influences her family to be empowered as well. So my modality of empowering is through women. Our mission statement for 4 trimesters started with doularing with a warm heart because birth matters. And we actually had that mission statement for a very long time because it was something that we practiced. A lot of times when people talk about having a doula, nobody really understands what having a doula is like until they've gone through the experience. And then you get a lot of parents coming back after, it's like, you were saying this, you're saying that, I really didn't get it until that happened. But 4 trimesters isn't just about me. It's about the growing team of women wanting to empower other women, coming on board together, working within the 4 trimesters community and reaching out to other people. Which means to say, whatever that I plan for 4 trimesters is not just about me. It's about the community or the inner community that I have created as a space for people to come together. So through the years with the various people on the team coming and going through the seasons of life, the mission statement that we have also evolves together with whoever we have on our team. And from doularing with a warm heart because birth matters, we have actually transited to she deserves the birth she desires. And that's something where, as an international trainer traveling all over around the world teaching midwives and other birth workers, I hear the same stories all the time of women being deprived of the basic right, which is to give birth in the most supportive, loved, respectable and empowering way. And what we are aiming to do in 4 trimesters is to give the woman the birth she desires, is to work with her, to support her through this incredible process as much as she's willing to be supported, and to show her what she's capable of in moments when she doesn't know that she already actually has it within herself. We have a few philosophies at 4 trimesters, and the first one is to protect the mother's experience. Why is protecting the mother's experience so important? Now, in a community like this and a birth setting like this, most people when they're pregnant, most people actually just see an obstetrician and then they choose to give birth at a hospital without realizing that whilst the system is built for them, it doesn't take care of a mother the way she needs to be taken care of when she's pregnant and when she's going through labor and birth. So a lot of what we do is really about protecting the mother's experience to ensure that she's loved and respected through the way. And protecting the mother's experience comes a lot from the skill of the doula and her own personal growth as well. I truly believe that our external world is a reflection of our internal world. And one of the reasons why I love doularing is because it's not superficial. It forces a person to go deep within themselves And the kind of clients that they attract is a reflection of what's happening within themselves. And that is why part of the growth as a doula, it is very important to keep going, keep pushing the boundaries of oneself, keep working towards being whole. Because the more wholesome you are, the more deeply fulfilled you will be by your calling as a doula. And because of that, the philosophy comes in as protecting the mother's experience, because I see that from the role of the doula. Whereas another philosophy that we have at 4 trimesters is to give the mother an empowered birth experience. Now, to empower mother through her birth experience, it depends on the mother and her birth partner, how much they're willing to do. And everyone comes into pregnancy at a different season of life, which means to say, to me, giving birth is the same end result. Everyone reaches the same finish line. But the difference is this. If you say you want to have a six-pack and you start out at 200 kilos heavy, to get a six-pack, you have a lot more work to do than a 70-kilo person. So we all still reach the end goal, which is having a six-pack. But the journey to getting there is different. When women come to us pregnant, I don't know where they are at. The work that is needed to be done to get the birth that they want may be 200 kilos worth, or it may only be 60 kilos worth. Our role is not to tell them what to do. Our role is to cut out the noise that gets into the way of them doing what they are already innately able to do, and facilitate the whole process. However, just as with losing weight, we cannot do the work for them. They have to want to do the work themselves. So when it comes to doing what we can to empower the woman's birth experience, it's really about us giving them the tools, but the work is on the mother and her family to plow through themselves. Whereas when it comes to protecting the birth experience, that comes to the skill, the persona, and the intent of the doula herself. Some of our other philosophies includes creating a greener ecosystem for community. So one of the things that happens a lot when people get the 4 trimesters birth experience, or what I call the 4 trimesters experience, you find that the thing that keeps coming back is safety. People keep saying, oh, I come to 4 trimesters birth sanctuary because it's a safe place. It was a place I came to during pregnancy. It was a place I came to for labor and birth. It was a place I came to after the birth. It represented something safe for me. And a lot of people who experience the 4 trimesters experience come back to us because they say, you know what, 4 trimesters did so much for us, and in return, we would like to give it back to the community. Is there anything we can do as a community? Maybe I'm not set up to be a doula because I can't do the hours, or it's just not where my interest is. Is there another way that we can help and contribute and give back to the community? So one of the things that we're really, really big on is creating that community from pregnancy to labor and birth to postpartum. Also in a place like Singapore, where you have high cesarean rates, high induction rates, high medical interventions, by the time you choose to have something different, it is really difficult to find where that community is. So often when people are looking for different alternatives, what do we mean by different alternatives? As simple as a really good birth experience. As simple as a basic birth experience where you're going to be loved and supported and respected through one of the most vulnerable periods in your life. And that's all we're doing, creating that community where if you want something different, which is a better birth for yourself, this is a safe place that you can come to. This is a safe place that you can connect with other people who have come to find safety and create those bonds to assist you through one of the life-changing moments of your life, which is not just about giving birth to your child, but giving birth to yourself as a mother and your partner giving birth to themselves as a birth partner. We are also very big about promoting mother-baby bonding, which sounds really basic. But you will find that in a birth setting like this, there is a lot of mother-baby separation with cultures like having a confinement lady, putting the baby in the nursery when at the hospital. And people don't really understand what is the importance of mother-baby bonding and how that actually affects a woman. Often you hear a lot of stories about women giving birth and the babies were taken away from them and they don't even know why. They just knew that their babies were at risk. Now, whether they were at risk or not, that's a different thing altogether. But there is a lot of unnecessary mother-baby bonding. So that is one of the things we promote very highly, and we educate our clients the importance of skin to skin after the birth, skin to skin in the postpartum period, because people don't truly understand the benefits of mother-baby bonding. And again, it is a basic right, and it's something that we fight so strongly just to protect the first few moments of becoming a mother and a father. The first value was purpose. All of us came to becoming a doula because of some purpose and intent or calling. Most of us discover that doularing found us, not so much that we found doularing, it was a calling. Some of us come because we want to give back to community what we were not given, so that is the intent. And some of us just get a lot of fulfillment up in helping others. So whether it's a purpose, intent, or calling, that brings us together, which leads to the next value of communication. When we communicate with one another, there's always a purpose and intent or a calling to do so. Whether it's talking to a pregnant woman because she's asking you questions, whether it's attending a birth, whether it's going for prenatal or a postpartum, we just don't go and just chit-chat. We go with an intent. What is the purpose of this session? What would we like you to get out of it at the end of the session? During the communication, the third value will unfold, and that would be connection. Through the communication with a purposeful intent, we connect on a much deeper level. And this is where human needs meets human needs. Heart meets heart. And when we connect on the deeper level, we feel satisfied. We feel deeply satisfied with what we are doing and how we're choosing to spend our time. So connection and creating rapport and being able to relate to another is a very strong value. Once connection is established, we move on to the next value, which is creating that place of safety. When we're able to connect, we start building that sense of safety. When we start building that sense of safety, we start being honest with ourselves, because we're no longer communicating at a superficial level. When heart to heart is talking to each other and it provides that sense of safety, honesty reveals itself. And when honesty reveals itself, there comes trust. In the same way, when we have these value systems at 4 trimesters, it is not just meant as a guiding post for the doulas within the team, but it's meant as a guiding post of how we choose to communicate with our clients and the intent that we bring into it. Only when we have fulfilled the first few values that I mentioned, then we come to family. And what family is all about is building this community. That even though we weren't born into each other's family, we work as a family. This is how we work together as doulas within the 4 trimesters community, which is what makes us very different from a lot of doula companies out there. We're truly a doula sisterhood. And one of the things I always say to clients is, one of the reasons why you'll be so well looked after, because you're not just looked after by one person. You're looked after by the 4 trimesters community. Whether we are in front of you or not, we are people behind the scenes are paving the way and making sure that every single one of you is looked after. Just as the saying goes, it takes a community to raise a child. It also takes a community to support a mother and her family through the whole pregnancy, labor and birth, and into motherhood. When we have community and we start showing up for each other and we have that sense of connection, the sense of heart, that sense of trust, what evolves then is that when we feel safe enough, we're able to grow ourselves and to grow towards being more whole. And that's one of the very important value of 4 trimesters, is that you must be willing to grow. Because I truly believe that your external world is a reflection of your internal world. If you want things to change outside of you, you first have to look inside of you and see what needs to happen to attract that very thing that you think you want outside of you. Hence, one of the things that we do is make sure we come together for peer reviews, to talk about the births, to share the experience. And one of the ways we accelerate learning experiences, rather than you having, as an individual, having to go through all these experiences on your own, you're actually going through the experiences as a team, in hope that if I were to make a mistake, you will learn from that mistake and you don't need to repeat it onto another person in order to learn that. And in the same way, when we do something that's good, we want to share the good learnings so that other people can actually benefit. And that way we can always grow together. When we have the ability to grow, it requires us to have the ability to believe in ourselves. And part of being a doula is to believe in the woman, that she's able to do it, especially when she doesn't believe in herself. So how can we expect us to believe in someone else when we cannot even believe in ourselves? And that's where the growing comes. In our ability to grow, we need to feel safe. In our ability to grow, we need to have support and community. In our ability to grow, only when we can grow, then we can work towards what needs to happen for us. How do we need to believe in the work that we do, that it actually makes a difference to people's life? How can we believe in ourselves in such a way that we can continue working towards living a purposeful life? It's the same thing for mothers, really. One of the reasons why mothers decide to engage doula services is not just to have guidance, it is to have that someone believe in them that they can do this when no one else does. And in the same way, the 4 trimesters community is about believing in yourself when no one else does. And this is where the community makes it so safe to make the impossible possible for you. And why is believing in oneself so important? It's when you believe in yourself, only then you can empower somebody else. The more whole you feel about yourself, the more your ability to have that strength and courage within yourself to give to that someone else to empower the other person. The reason why empowerment is so important is because we do not want to do it for you. We want to teach you how to do it so you can do it yourself. And one of the things that empowerment shows up in everything that we do is we take a lot of time, like really a lot of time, to teach and empower women to know what to do, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be with you throughout, and we want to make sure that when we leave you with the tools necessary to have a better birth experience, to have a better pregnancy experience, to be able to cope with motherhood and thereafter. Hence, empowering you to know what to do is a very important value. It's amazing, like, as the leader, the team leader and the owner of 4 trimesters, I don't need the significance of, oh, I'm so glad you were there at my birth, you pulled me through. I really don't need that. I get a lot of satisfaction just listening to people's stories of how the other doulas helped them through. And I get a lot of satisfaction from knowing that by being the person behind the scenes and empowering the team of doulas, empowering the parents, and how they can carry the good work forward. So a lot of what we do is not about empowering people, right? On the outside you look at it as empowering people, but a lot of what we do is transformational, which means to say you're just working with energy. And I really liken it to, it doesn't matter if it's negative energy or if it's positive energy. The key thing is, if it's negative, what needs to happen to transform this negativity into a force for good? You cannot get rid of the energy is there. So since the energy is constant and it's always going to be there, then it's a question of how you choose to play and direct the energy. So the whole thing of what really encompasses what we are about is we are transforming this negative energy into a force for good. And when we transform this negative energy into a force for good, it shows up in empowerment. That I don't even have to tell a person what to do. They are empowered to do it for themselves. And that to me is the greatest satisfaction. So using these value system, the whole idea is whenever we have to make decisions on what clients we're going to work with, which clients we're going to accept, which clients we have to turn away because the value systems don't actually match. Difficult decisions that needs to take place in order for the community to grow. One of the things that always comes up after going through all the value system is what is the best decision for the greater good. Not the best decision for you and me and every individual, but what is the best decision as a we? What serves the community? So a lot of the decisions that we make at 4 trimesters and how it shows up and how we teach, how we communicate with the clients, how we receive people and how we journey them lies in what the intent, and the intent lies in what benefits the community for the greater good. We truly believe, and we don't just believe with blind faith. We give them tools that they can actually use to materialize dreams into reality. The reality would be a better birth experience. That they walk away from the birth experience truly believing that they did it. We didn't do it for them, that they did it.